Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're tuning in to this broadcast of the WP Dojo. My name is Anthony Navarro, and welcome to today's presentation on creating your Webmaster money machine. Today we're going to talk about how to charge for your services, to charge what you're worth, and to create various packages so that you can actually earn a living doing web design. After you get the skills to pay the bills, get the skills to make websites, how would you interact with clients to command the type of rate that a freelancer should be paid to make sure that you are paid what you're worth? First of all, want to make sure that you know that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Yes, there is good money to be made in web design, but web design is a business. We actually, as web professionals, have a service. We have a business. We have something to offer people that we can charge. So we can easily offer our products and services to our clients, to anyone in the business community who has a business. And it could be your little lady on the corner who has a dog walking business, all the way to someone who has a retail establishment and they need to get themselves a website or improve their existing website. One of the challenges that we as people, especially independent web designers, have is wondering what we should charge, and a lot of times we feel guilty about charging people or charging what we think we would like to charge for a website. And the first thing you need to know is, as a business person or even as a consumer, people pay for products and services every day. There's no shame in spending $199 on an iPhone. There's no shame in spending $14,000 on a car or $35,000 on a car, or even paying premium price on a laptop. As a business owner, you are entitled to charge services for products that add value. So someone might say, well, a laptop I can get for $350. It provides me that type of value because it's a simple Windows laptop. Someone else might say, I'm willing to pay $3,500 on the top of the line Apple laptop because that provides me with $3,500 or more dollars worth of value for that. So our value is directly influenced by someone's perception of what it's worth. Is laptop A worth 10 times more than laptop B? It's in the eye of the beholder, and it depends on what value it does deliver. And what we're doing is we are professionals. We are web professionals offering professional services to other professionals. So if someone's going to charge us $150 to come and mow our lawn, or $150 to unclog a drain, or $150 to install a light bulb, we don't have problems offering those people those types of rates for their services. Likewise, people do not actually have a problem offering web professionals their rate for their professional services based on the value. And the goal of this class is to show you that you actually have value to offer and you have a reason to command the types of prices that our profession deserves. And the last thing you want to do is reduce the overall quality of the industry. So if everyone's saying to you as a web designer, wow, I got my website quoted and it was X amount and it's 4 or 5 times your rate, you're undercharging. And I've experienced this, and I know plenty of other people that are experiencing this. I'm like, and I kind of say jokingly, wow, I guess I need to increase my rates. Yes, indeed. That is a key indicator that you need to increase your rates. And there is no shame as a professional collecting professional fees. Now, the reality is, if you're just getting started in web design, indeed, your websites may not command professional fees. But in the world of WordPress, you can very quickly increase your knowledge, increase your skill set to where within 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 months at most, you should collect full throttle website fees for professional websites based on your skill set after 4 to 6 months. So you will see that by the end of this course. Now, one thing we have to overcome as individuals, as human beings, is the psychology of wealth. People innately have a problem not so much making money, but making more money than the people around them. We have what's called a built-in comfort ceiling. And this comfort ceiling could be in a talent or skill. It can be in the amount of money one earns compared to a friend or coworker. It could be your marriage. You can be bragging on your marriage and everyone else doesn't have a good marriage and you start feeling bad, or you could be making a lot more money than everyone around you and you start feeling bad, or you could be having a lot more success in your career and you start feeling bad. And what happens is you actually mentally put on the brakes, and you could have the world going for you. You can have your foot on the accelerator and having that wonderful marriage or having that wonderful career or making that wonderful income. And as soon as you start hearing or seeing the pain around you, people are like, oh, who do you think you are making all that money or having all the success? It brings you down. And I know this from personal experience. I come from a middle-class Italian-Irish neighborhood, and when I was growing my career, this is before web design, this was in the IT career when I was just out of college, I started feeling uncomfortable and I felt bad earning more than all my friends because I was the only one that I knew in my career. So the first thing you need to do is, like any habit, you need to break through this comfort zone. You need to break through any of these things that are mentally, psychologically holding you back and saying, I deserve this income. I deserve this professional rate. I deserve to be treated as a professional because you are, again, providing a professional service. And you try to think again, is the guy that came and fixed your toilet ashamed of asking a particular rate? Is the guy that last week came and repaired a gutter on the outside of my house, is he ashamed to ask for his rate? Or is the person who comes and mows your lawn ashamed to quote you a particular rate? No, they're not. They're adding value. And many times you are happy to pay that rate, because I am very happy in paying someone X amount to mow my lawn. It is worth every penny. And likewise, for someone to have a website that gives them that value, that ability to then relax and have the free time and not mow the lawn, or in this case, not have to create a website themselves, they gladly pay other people, other professionals to do that. And we are those professionals. So in your head, it's not like you can go from 0 to 1,000. So you need to see where you currently are and ask yourself, what's the next level? So maybe you already are building websites and you're already charging a certain amount, and you know that you're undercharging. So you might, I'll just quote a number off the top of my head. I'll just say you're charging $350 for a website, which is incredibly low. Someone is getting incredible value for that. What's the next level? Well, you're not going to go charge $6,000 for your next website if you're already charging $350. So to break through your first comfort zone, you say, well, I wonder if I can charge $500. And you will get a client to build a website for $500. That is not to be debated. And then after that, you say, what is my next level? I can build a website for $750. And then, I can build a website and charge, let me make a big jump, $1,250. And then let me build my next website for $2,500. You'll eventually just get yourself to the level where you understand the industry goes. And you can zoom as fast as you want. Now again, if you're building websites because you're just getting started and your website looks like a $350 website, you're not going to charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $11,000 for a website that looks like a $300 website. That is something that comes definitely with skill and definitely with time. But I guarantee, myself included, and I only say this because I know where I am, you could be charging more than you're currently charging. So what is the next level? And what is the next rate that you are going to quote for your next website? Think about that. So then you get to the point of psychology. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are we in the web design business? You could be at a desk 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or 9 to 7, as many of our careers take us today. And we look at the psychology of, why are we working? Do we work just so we can have time off on the weekends? Or do we work for a larger goal, something large to ourselves? Do I want to become a missionary? Do I want to take large vacations with my family? Do I want to give more to certain causes? Do I want to have the full freedom, time freedom, work from home or work from the beach? What is your why? And that is doing the proverbial, what gets you up early and what keeps you up late? What is going to make you strive? What is going to make you move forward? And in the context of this presentation, what is going to get you to charge the rate you deserve to provide a service to people who will gladly pay that rate because you are giving them that value and then some? So is your why big enough to get you to where you want to go? Because there is certainly fear in saying, I want to increase my rates, or I want to quote, wow, I've never quoted a website for $4,500 before. What if they say no? Is your why big enough to get you to start saying this is what it takes to build a website, because you know what your time is worth and what it's worth to them to add that extra value? A question on the forum here from Jeff. Yes, if you charge lower rates, it causes others to make less. Absolutely. Because if someone knows, well, my friend over here, he'll build a website for me for $500. Yeah, you can get a website from your friend for $500. But what is your friend's value proposition? And then what you're doing is you're bringing the entire industry down. If we become a commodity, then why would you go with web vendor A or web designer B? We want to add value and keep our industry, again, professional. And that's across the board everywhere. If you get a guy who will mow your lawn for $50 a month, what do you think you'll get? That might not even pay for his gasoline. So is he going to spend a lot of time and give you a lot of value? Maybe not. And the same thing goes for our industry. So we do want to add value. And we want to first get ourselves away from the mindset of making an hourly wage. It might take you 7 hours. It might take you 22 hours. It might take you 3 hours to build someone a website. But what does that website mean to them? So you're going to charge what they perceive as value. If this value means increased sales, if this value means more customers walking into my door and becoming members of my club, if this value means I look like a professional, so you're making them look good, that's the value of what you're building. Not saying it takes me 3 hours to build a website, 7 hours, 22 hours. You want to charge what they are looking as value. And again, I've paid way much more for certain products or services because I saw the value in it. Just like art with painting. Someone might paint something and it might take them 2 hours to paint it, but it really tugs at your heart and you'll pay anything for that little painting. I had an opportunity as well to buy a painting at a coffee shop and it was actually already sold and I was very upset. It was just an 8x14 little painting of a sunset and it just struck me. I was in this coffee shop and the painting just spoke to me. I don't know if you've ever had a moment like that with art, but the artist was going to pay, or charge that type of art, maybe $125, $150. I would have paid, and my wife would have killed me, I would have paid $400 for that piece of art because of the value it gave me emotionally. That's what art can do. Someone else might not even want to pay $25. So it depends on what the person sees valuable. Likewise, our website contributes value, and that is where we are commanding our value to provide them the value, our services to provide them the value. So we get away from the hourly mindset. We get into the project and the package mindset. We are offering them the peace of mind. We are offering them their image. We are offering them their services as having a web presence. So again, what is that value to them? And you want to be clear, and you want to make sure that they're clear, because most website owners or most business owners really don't know the value of their online presence. They just say, I need a website. Everyone has a website, so I need a website. But they're not really clear on the value that their online presence will give them. They're not really clear about the value that you will give them by giving them a high quality online presence. And this is what you do where you're so much, quote, selling them into their services where they want to make sure that their website gives them this value. So the other aspect of charging more, if you're out there just willy-nilly charging lowball prices for your websites, people will expect a lowball type of website and not really command respect. And if you spent $4,000 on a used car, what are you going to expect from it? Versus if you're spending $35,000 on a family vehicle, you're going to expect a lot more. So people understand value in products and services that cost more. There was actually a study they did at a grocery store. I don't know if it was a Target or a Walmart, and they had 2 cylinders full of a drink. And they had drink A, $1, and drink B, $3.50. And that second cooler was emptied, and the first cooler was virtually full by the end of the day. So people see value simply because something costs more. So number one is when you charge more for websites, it will make you look professional. I'm not selling $500 websites. I'm not selling $7,500 websites. I'm selling name your price. It makes you look professional. And yes, Jeff, you get what you pay for. That's exactly what people perceive. If I spend $500 on a website, I'm going to pay for it later. I'm going to have someone redesign it for me later. And I actually did that with a personal purchase. I'll say my jet ski. I saved money by buying a jet ski on the cheap, and I paid a lot more later. There is value in paying a higher price up front so that you get a better product, a better service, and less buyer's remorse. On that note, by charging more, you will get higher quality clients. Clients know if they spend more money on something, they're going to get a higher quality product. They're going to complain less. They know that they're going to get something that they will like. And because they'll be getting a better site, they don't want a cheap site, they want a good site, they're going to see your portfolio and they're going to say, I need to use this guy as my web designer. And so it's going to bring you more business by charging higher rates. It's kind of a paradox where you think, well, if I get 100 clients for $500 a website, I might only get 10 clients if I charge $5,000 for a website, and you might break even. But the paradox is that you will actually get more business by charging more. So it's not like if you can build 10 websites in a period of time, say a website a month. Say if you build 10 websites in 10 months at the cheap rate, you would probably be able to build 20, 30, 40 websites in the same amount of time at that higher rate because people are seeing higher quality work from you and you become more in demand. And when that happens, when you become more in demand and people are talking about you and talking you up, saying, this guy did my website, you will gain the self-confidence so you can come in and commandingly say, this is what I charge for my website, or this is what your investment will give you. So you're talking to them as a value proposition as opposed to being an expense. And because of that, because you're going to have more consistent and more successful client interaction, you're going to have a more consistent cash flow. People are going to invest in you, to invest in their services, to invest in the value you're going to give them. They don't want cheap websites. They don't want cheap looking websites. They want a quality website that they can trust. Someone with this self-confidence is telling them they will get the value added to them. And by getting more money, you will then be able to invest in yourself. So yes, indeed, you have to invest in yourself, whether it's buying a utility, buying a plugin, investing in a WordCamp, traveling to, whatever you need to do to learn, to self-teach yourself. Because as a web designer, you're self-taught. There is no real classes on WordPress at the university level. You don't go to school for web design in WordPress. You have to invest in yourself, and the whole community out there, whether it's a membership website like the WordPress Dojo or a graphic arts website or a programming website, you would need to invest in yourself, and you'll be able to do that when you charge more money. If all you're doing is living paycheck to paycheck or client to client, only charging a couple $100s, you'll never get to the point to invest in yourself, and you're spending all that time developing websites for clients that you don't have the time to invest in yourself. So you can churn out as hard as you can, spend all your spare time building a website every week at $500 a pop, Or you can build one website a month for a very good fee and have plenty of free time to invest in yourself, which will command more value to you the next client that comes around because you've taught yourself, invested in yourself. And because of that, you're actually investing in your why. You're getting up early, you're staying up late, you're learning these skills so that you can X, send your kids to a better school, to take these vacations, to get your wife out of that second job, or get your wife to stay at home so she doesn't have to work a two-income family type job. Whatever your why is, that's why you charge more. So you can invest in yourself and then hopefully get the final result. Pay off your mortgage, pay off your car, get out of debt. Why are we doing this? All right, so we're going to sell our benefits. Again, we just want to reiterate, we're not going to be here as an hourly wage slave. We are selling a benefits package to our customers, not telling them, oh, you're going to get a contact form, and oh, you're going to get a widget, and oh, you're going to do podcasts. Podcasts and contact forms may very well be items on their website. But what you're selling them is your visitors will be able to hear your message straight from you, or your visitors will be able to contact your departments directly through this custom form, say with Gravity Forms or something like that. So you will streamline the communications inside your company. You will streamline your customer service to client interactions through this website. Not just, it's got a form or it's got a podcast. They emotionally invest in what it is you are going to provide for them. And a lot of times, again, customers don't know what it is they really want. So you have to tell them. So your customer might say, I need a website. And you'll ask, well, why do you want a website? Of course they want a website. Everyone's got a website. But what is it they want their website to do for them? So often they don't know what it is they want out of their website. So you're going to tell them, here's what websites will do. They'll benefit you in these ways. And again, not looking at features. It's going to have a contact form. It's going to have a podcast. It's going to have a video thing. You'll tell them what these things will benefit them, how it's going to sell them. So they often don't know what they want their site to do. So you'll explain it to them. So you might ask, do you currently have a way that customers can efficiently get to the right person they need to talk to, whether it's customer service, whether it's technical support, whether it's pre-sales questions? This will help them understand what their site will do to help add value to their business. Thirdly, clients don't often measure results in their current processes. So they're not going to know the biggest benefits of their new processes that the website will give them. So if they don't measure, well, how long does it take a customer currently to reach the person they're actually looking for, whether it's customer service or technical support or pre-sales or post-sales types of communications? The website will improve it by X amount. If they don't even know what they're currently getting, they won't know what great value the website is giving them. So again, you want to show them how to expect results. So they're going to see, again, its value in, again, commanding a higher price. And finally, you want to sell their own goals to them. If their goal is to provide awesome customer service, if their goal is to sell X number of widgets a month, if their goal is to increase sales 10% every quarter, you want to show how your website is going to help them achieve that goal. And your fee for that website becomes an investment, not an expense. So if I can improve efficiency by 20%, which saves me tens of thousands of dollars, investing in your website is a clear option. It becomes a no-brainer. It would pay for itself in the first quarter or the first year or the first 6 months, however much it would be. And after that, it's all float to them. So they see incredible value. And again, if you invest in a $500 website, well, what's it going to be worth? You want to invest in a multi-$1,000 website or whatever it's worth to them for that value proposition so that they see it as an easy investment. You're not having to convince them to pay that fee for a quality website. When can I sign up? How quickly can you get this done? They want it to happen. Well, today I found an interesting graphic. It's actually non-related to our industry here about web design, but it very clearly shows how this argument works. If you look at this particular company, and again, I'm going to give them the credit for it, Wider Funnel, It's a sales agency. But here you have an airplane. And the airplane, you want the airplane to gain altitude. You want your value proposition to go up. You want them to see continual value in what it is your website's going to do for them. And how do they get that value proposition? Through an increase or a high amount of relevance and an increase and a high amount of clarity. So the higher clarity and the higher relevance, saying this website will help your business do this. This website will help your employees do this. This website will help your customers make these decisions quicker. They're going to see that value, and that value is going to go up. They don't want anxiety, and they don't want distraction. These are going to take the air altitude down. This is going to take the wind out of your sails. So you want to make it very relevant and clear how it's going to benefit them. And certainly if you have the fire of urgency on your tail and it's pushing, almost like a rocket pushing your airplane forward, you're going to see it even clearer. It's going to be more relevant and more clear in a very quick amount of time or a very short period of time. So this was just a beautiful graphic I discovered today, and I'm going to have to contact these folks and see if I might be able to modify it or if it's truly something that's trademarked. But it was just a great image I thought I'd share with you guys. I'm glad I saw it about an hour before the presentation got started. All right, so because of this value has a tangible amount to it. Value has a tangible component, and it has an emotional component. What we would do to our clients initially is appeal to their emotions. People react emotionally regardless of what rationale might be behind it. And I experienced this in my IT career, and I'm sure whatever industry you're currently in, you've experienced this in your industry where you explain a case. This will save us money, this will increase productivity, this will do this, this will do this, this will do this. And the person just has this bug. This person just has this thing. And they refuse to take action on your recommendation because of what you know is an emotional response. They might have an emotional tie to the way that the thing is currently working and they don't want to change. They might be scared themselves that their job might be at risk and they're afraid of change. There's an emotional component to it. And this cartoon, I think, clearly shows that. Here's the gentleman saying, well, that was a very well laid out rational point, but I still hold to my emotional opinion based on no facts or evidence whatsoever. So because people will sometimes prevent moving forward or taking action for emotional reasons as opposed to rational reasons, when you present the value you're going to present to them with a new website, you appeal to their emotions. Think of how wonderful your clients will feel. Think of how confident your employees will be that they have information at their fingertips. Think of how much more productive your warehousing staff will feel when they know that on the front end, all these questions are being asked at the website level and they only have to deal with important questions and not the everyday stuff. You add value emotionally first, and then people back up their emotional decisions through rationalization. It's an interesting component, but it's just a truism. No matter what industry you're in, whether you're in IT, whether you're a librarian, whether you're a pastor, whether you're a school teacher, people react emotionally first and rationally later. So when you engage the rational with the emotional, that's where you get the engagement. So when you mix the rational component and the emotional component, where they mix, that's where people are engaged. They have a full emotional investment. They also have a rationale behind their decision, and they're engaged and they're ready to take action. So people will often react emotionally and again, rationalize the decision they made so they can move forward. All right. And an emotional yes will always overpower a rational no. And how do we know this? Think of dieting. Ooh, I can have this chocolate cake right now. I can have this pudding right now. I can have this great meal right now. But rationally, I understand I need to say no to this meal. I need to say no to this snack. I need to say no to this bad habit. Oh, but it feels so good. Their emotion will always override their rationality. So that's why we sell our website services based on emotion, based on how is this going to value you, how is this going to make you feel, and then they can rationalize their decision based on that. One way, once they understand what their website is going to do for their business. There's a few other components that you can add on to try to get it over the edge, as it were. Some people might actually still be on the fence. And this is just a natural thing. Not everyone says yes right away. Everyone knows they need it, but sometimes they just need that little push. And some people can call it sales tactics. Some people can call it, whatever it is. But there's just a few items that you could look at. For instance, bonuses. You can say, if you sign up, because I'm looking at my schedule, and you decide to move forward with this website within the next 7 days, because by next week I'm going to have a couple responses from a number of other clients. I've got a few proposals in the pipe. I can give you a 6 months peace of mind plan on top of that, just if you would sign up within the next 7 days. Or fast action incentives. If you sign up within the next 24 hours, I will make sure that your website is ready within 10 days. Or show your portfolio and say, well, here's your competition. Here's what they look like. And I've made their websites, and I've got a number of others in the pipe. Don't you want your website to be done sooner? And then, of course, referrals and testimonials. If you've got a good referral structure, if you've got a number of clients who have some great stuff to say about you, and because their only concern is whether or not they know you very well, if you're just web designer X and you don't have a personal relationship with these people, testimonials and referrals mean a lot. So that will help them get over that emotional hump, because they may not have a full knowledge of who you are. If you're in an industry where everybody knows your name or your reputation precedes you, that's not going to be a problem. But again, the emotional appeal to help them make the decision they need to help them get the value that they're going to get from your services. Again, we're providing value to them, and so we just need to make sure they understand. Again, because sometimes they don't even know what their own business processes or their own values, their own needs are until we explain it to them. And emotionally, they then understand exactly what it is they rationally need to take care of. So call it emotional intelligence, like that old book that came out in the 90s was about. So when you charge for a website, you charge your initial fee. But you can also say, you know what, I have some package deals. I have some things that might help you in the long run. For instance, your hosting package. You can ask them to decide, would you like to be on a shared hosting package, which will save you money? Would you want to be in my reseller package, which will isolate you from a shared server and give you less likely to have some downtime? Or if you're a mission critical operation, maybe in e-commerce, I can get you some dedicated service. Or if you really want to have a full-blown guaranteed uptime kind of thing, and no one can guarantee 100% uptime, but you can go with a WordPress specific host, and each of these in order costs more and more money. You ask them which way they'd like to go, and based on their emotional feel of how critical their website uptime is, you charge them for whatever. Now certainly you can get a $7 hosting package, a $3 hosting package, but when you're managing it for them, you can charge whatever you want. You can charge $20 a month, $30 a month, $75 a month, $150 a month for hosting to make sure their website stays up and running. Now, if you're looking at WordPress specific, say it is an e-commerce website that they want to make sure has as guaranteed uptime as they possibly can have, a individual plan at a company, say WP Engine, is $30 a month. Well, if you charge them $75 a month, you're making $45 a month on hosting packages. If you have a shared hosting account with a company like HostGator, you might be charged $7, $8, $9 a month for your hosting package. But if you charge them $30 a month for the hosting package, you're basically making gravy on top of every one of those hosting packages. And again, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. You're providing them a service that they don't have to care about. They don't have to worry about. You're taking on the burden of management. So again, you're not trading hours for dollars. You're providing a regular package that they're investing in to make sure their site stays up and running. So a hosting package is one way to create regular income on top of your one-time web design income. Another opportunity that you can have for your clients is a security package. You can have, say, a peace of mind package. This is something that the folks at iThemes talk about, where you can use one of their products, Backup Buddy, and on your end, you automatically have Backup Buddy automatically backing up websites off to a Amazon S3 account, or you could manually back it up and download it to your computer, burn it to a CD, and send it to them. You do that once a month, and you can charge a peace of mind security package. So you can tell them, hey, if anything ever happens to your website, if the hosting company goes down, if another storm like we just had come up here, the Sandy superstorm, if the storm takes out your hosting package, you've got a copy of your website sitting on your desk. Or I've got a copy on my computer, in case it wasn't both of our computers that died, it was the hosting account that died. And you have peace of mind knowing that whether it was a natural disaster or a hacker or a malicious employee took down your website, that you can have this website up and running in a very short period of time. You can have a disaster relief security package where you can also send it off-site and for instance, an Iron Mountain or something like that, and tell them it's secure. And again, you charge a management fee on top of that. And again, you quote your package, and it's based on the value they see in that. Another type of package you could look at is a service package. You can tell them, I work from 9 to 5, and I'll take calls on Tuesday from 1 to 5, and Thursday from 12 to 1, and not at all on Friday. You can be put on priority support, where, okay, if you want to call me 24 hours a day, I'm going to put you on my priority support package, and anytime you call me, I'm going to have you in my telephone. I'm going to see the caller ID pop up, and I'll put a special ringtone. I'll put the bat signal on there or something. But to know that you can reach me 24/7, here's what it's going to cost. And you put a monthly priority support package, and you throw in the peace of mind package on top of that. So you'll tell them, all right, for this monthly service package, you're going to have 24-hour access to me. You'll get pushed up in a priority queue. If I'm already working on a project, this fee will bump down the priority of anybody else. I'm going to work with you only. And I'll also make sure you have a peace of mind package in case you messed something up. You can call me at 10 o'clock at night, and I could restore a backup based on the peace of mind package. So you can create all these value-added services that they can either sign up right away, or you can offer to them later. You can say, okay, the site's up and running. This is great. You got 3 months free peace of mind package. How's that working for you? Would you like to keep on getting that? Okay, sign up to this PayPal auto debit system, and I'll continue your peace of mind package, and you're good to go. Oh, I'm noticing that you're calling me every now and then off hours. Would you like to sign up to my priority support package? Because I normally don't take calls after hours, or I don't take calls except on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Would you like to sign up for that package? So these are, again, other value-added things that you can add to your repertoire that clients will pay for when they see the value in what it will get for them. Another thing you can do is offer a free limited trial of any particular service. So for instance, the peace of mind package, as I mentioned, when you install someone's website and get it up and running, you can give them automatically, and include a letter there, a CD in the mail saying, this is the peace of mind package. You're getting it for the first 3 months courtesy of your company name. Thank you very much. And on the third package that arrives, you can include an order form saying, to continue this peace of mind service, please visit website so-and-so and sign up for the automatic renewal of your peace of mind package. And again, all you're doing every month is doing a backup, which you can do with Backup Buddy automatically, burning it to a CD, and sending it to them in the mail. And you can have your children do that for you, or anybody. You can have anyone do it as they're part of their monthly chores or weekly chores. That'd be a great way to have one of your teenage kids earn their keep, right? So you can offer free limited trials of certain services. You might have a training package. For instance, you can sign them up to the WordPress Dojo, and you can give them a certain amount of time for free, and then charge them an additional fee above and beyond that if you'd like to, or offer your own type of training services, make your own pre-recorded videos. So looking at all that, there's a lot that you can do, number one, to increase your value to your customers. And number two, increase your ongoing value to your customers by creating processes and packages that you keep that relationship going. And another thing is that repeat customers are a lot easier to come by than new customers. In fact, half of my business is generally taken up by existing business. People want a theme redesigned. People want a feature added in. People want to have content developed for them, or they need new training going on because there's a new person coming in that's taking care of their website. So the more clients you generate, the more business you're going to have internally as well as externally. So all that said, you have some homework. There's a great quote saying, if people aren't laughing at your dreams aren't big enough. So if you are contemplating starting a web design business, if you currently have created a web design business or are in the process of building websites for a living, ask yourself, what type of income would I like to make? And the first person that should laugh is yourself, saying, oh, I can't make that much money. But rather than laugh at yourself, create your why list. Why do you want to become a web developer? What will this income do for you? What is it you're looking to do? Are you looking for the free time more than the free money? Are you looking for the convenience of working from home? Are you looking for the convenience of working from anywhere? Why is it you want to become a well-respected, well-paid web designer? And those are your dreams. The second task that you'll have is create your products and packages. Ask yourself, what am I going to charge for my next website? Now, if your next website is your first website for a customer, yes, indeed, you're building your portfolio, but you should probably build no more than 2 or 3 websites at the most, because you'll also have your personal website and your personal web design website. So your first 2 websites to build on, if you haven't made them, is yourself. So if you go to anthonynavarro.com, you'll see my first personal website. And it's not, the greatest. I actually like it. I thought it was pretty cool. I designed it from scratch myself. It is my little baby. It's my first major website that I designed using iThemes Builder. And I was very proud of it. And I learned CSS. So it was a very good stepping stone for me to create my own personal website. The second website I created was my business website, TNT Development Systems, tntds.com. And I made that for my customers to show them, here are my websites, or here are my website services. So right now, if you go to tntds.com, you'll see a portfolio section down below. In the beginning, I didn't have a portfolio. I had me and my business website saying what I can do for you, what's in it for you. I was showing how can I add them value and show them my process of how it is we will interact to build you the website that'll help you achieve your goals. So if you're just getting started, you want to create your portfolio, in essence, get the skills that'll pay the bills. Learn how to make a website by making your website first if you're not yet there. If you're already experienced in making websites using WordPress, you want to create your attitude of value proposition. You want to start telling yourself, I'm telling my clients, what is this going to gain them by having the website that I will design for them? And thirdly, you might want to get an accountability partner. It's not essential. You can tack your goal up on the wall. Above my computer, I've actually got a little cork board, a couple little cork squares, 12 by 12 sticky squares that go on the wall, and you basically can turn your wall into a cork board. And I've got my goals, and I've got my little motivational things, and I've got my little sales things, what I want to do this month. You can also have an accountability partner. If you have a wife, husband, spouse, you can tell them, hey, I want to do this month. I'll let you know. I'll keep you up to date weekly, daily, hourly, and help them keep you accountable. Help them help you. So not necessary to have an actual partner, but you want to try to make some form of accountability to say, rather than just saying, oh, I want to make more money. Well, how much more money? Get a spreadsheet, get a postcard. Say, my next website will cost X. Or the amount of value I'm going to offer is Y. And you put that up on the wall. And so you know that the next person that's going to ask you for a website, if you're currently asking $500 for websites, you're going to say $1,200. So you put that sticky on the wall. The next website I build will cost $1,200, and I'm going to give my customer incredible value. And then when you build that site, you tear it off the wall, you put one on the wall again. The next website I build is going to be X. Till you get to the point where you're commanding what our industry is commanding. One way to do that too is every time you are quoting other folks, ask them. One way to do that too is that every time you secure a contract, you can ask them, because you've already got it, could I just ask you, did you check with anybody else and what kind of prices were they asking for? And if you're finding out that they've been quoted twice the amount that you actually did it for, that should give you that why, that oomph, that incentive to say, all right, I'm not going to charge X, I'm going to charge 3X. And another thing too, when you're thinking about what type of website you're going to build, if it's a simple website that might have a blog and then a bunch of pages, the about page, directions, who am I, that's one thing. If you're going to do an e-commerce website, something that takes credit cards and you have to secure an SSL license, you're easily going to want to charge 4 times the amount of that website. And do not blink at that. There's a lot of back-end work in getting a SSL-based, e-commerce-based website up and running in WordPress. No shame in that. You just tell the customer, this is what it costs, I'm sorry. So you can say, a normal website like yours without an e-commerce component might cost, and you give them an amount. With e-commerce, you're looking at, and you double the price or triple the price, depending on what it is. Another type of website is a membership-based website that also has those same types of things. Thirdly is responsive design. Responsive design is a very popular thing right now because it seems that the world is moving to mobile devices. And if your website is not responsive, all they'll see is the main site. And if you're looking at a full-blown website like the Wall Street Journal on your iPhone, you will never be able to read it. But if the site is responsive, you'll be able to read it and maneuver it with your finger. If you're looking at it on a tablet, you'll be able to maneuver things around with however many fingers if you're using gestures and whatnot. So the 3 main chunks, you've got your basic website, you've got your responsive websites, and you've got e-commerce websites. Do consider the value, especially with e-commerce. If I've got a client that bills $80,000 a year on their current website shopping system, and they know that with a better website, with a newer WordPress-based website, and not some kind of kludgy, create your e-commerce solution here, and it looks ugly, and it's a cumbersome checkout process, and they're already billing $80,000 in business, say, or $120,000 or $500,000. You'd be surprised. I was surprised that one of my clients was, doing $160,000, $70,000 a year on their e-commerce website. That's another reason why you should never be ashamed of asking for the price that an e-commerce website deserves, because people are literally charging tens of thousands of dollars for e-commerce websites. So between basic websites, adding the functionality of a responsive website, and adding the additional responsibility or additional functionality of a e-commerce website, those are your 3 main plateaus when you're pricing out a website. So consider the amount of work that goes into it, and let them know too the value. If they did a Google Analytics on their website and they saw that 7 out of every 10 people that hit their website is using a mobile device like an iPhone, an Android phone, or a tablet or an iPad, they want to have their website responsive. No bones about it. If their website is a shop, if they're a cafe or some kind of retail establishment, obviously that site is going to be an e-commerce based website. You want to make amazing money, you're talking about an e-commerce website that's responsive. So you're double or triple dipping on top of that. And you tell them, what is the value in having an e-commerce website that is responsive, as opposed to, do your clients mostly use their desktop browser? They don't shop online with you on their phone. They go home and they do their research and yada yada. You can easily find that out through a quick Google Analytics report. And if they don't currently use Analytics, you can install the JavaScript code in their website header, and within 7 days, you'll find out what their website statistics are, and you can give them the advice they need to give them the value proposition that you need to give them, so that you can say, this is the type of website that will give your company the value to move forward. So whether it needs to be a responsive website as well as an e-commerce website, you can offer those arguments as well, showing them what the value there is. Well, I hope that you've learned something here. I hope that you've got some inspiration to realize that you indeed can earn a good income on a website by website basis, which will provide a good income on an annual basis for you, creating your Webmaster money machine, where you're basically going to be creating your one-time incomes off your design, your recurring incomes off your services, and then helping people understand the value of the types of websites that you're designing for them that will help their business, where they gladly will pay for your services. Thank you again. This is Anthony Navarro with the WP Dojo. If you get a moment, please leave a comment below this class and tell me what you thought about it. If you have any additional questions that might not have been covered during this webinar, let me know. And obviously, go ahead and use the social media links to click like or tweet or pin it or tell a friend in any which way or fashion. The more people get to see these classes, the more interactive the dojo gets and the more we all learn together. Well, thank you. Thank you there, Jeff, for the comment there in the chat room. I look forward to seeing you and everyone else in the dojo continue to grow, to increase our web foo, and definitely share the web foo. And let's go ahead and make our websites and start earning what we're worth. Take care.